It's been 2 days, and I still don't know what to say. On Saturday night, WrestleMania 40 Night 1 ended with The Rock laying the smackdown on Cody Rhodes and getting the 1-2-3, and just 6 hours later at 6 a.m, your boy was at the airport running on 3 hours of sleep, boarding a plane to Philadelphia, all because I wanted to see one man finish his damn story. 2 years ago, Cody Rhodes made his return to the WWE at WrestleMania 38, and as I was sitting there watching the show and never really being a Cody fan, for some reason at that very moment when he won the match and kissed the ring and did his old tribute to his father, that man became my guy. Suddenly, I was getting all these flashbacks of memories I never knew I had. To 2007, back when I was 9 years old, seeing Cody Rhodes team up with bum-ass Hardcore Holly. Getting flashbacks to 2009 and seeing him in Legacy, the Dashing days, the time him and his brother tore the house down against the Shield, and of course, the Stardust days. And then all this other stuff hit me, how his father passed away in 2015, and the next year he left his dream job and went around the world just grinding it out on all the indie scenes anywhere you could possibly imagine, all for the love of the game. It was the most epic and beautiful comeback story, something you would only see in a movie. The man who left in facepaint looking like a goof bet on himself, and after 6 years pulled up to WrestleMania and came off looking like one of the biggest stars in wrestling, and after that moment, I was just hooked. And there was just something about this guy. For the first time ever since John Cena, I truly had a favorite wrestler again, someone who I was cheering for every week, someone who actually had me invested in the program, somebody I wanted to see succeed not just as a wrestler, but as a person. So when he popped his titty and went off at Hell in a Cell, I was all in. When he won the Rumble in 2023, I was ready to inject it into my veins. And it made me so happy that in 2023, as I went to my first ever WrestleMania, it had a main event that I truly cared about. I would have loved any Mania, but the fact that I was going to a Mania and the main event, it was a match and had a person that I really wanted to see win, someone I really wanted to see succeed. My favorite wrestler was trying to win the title for the first time. I was invested like I was 10 years old again because I wanted to see the guy reach the mountaintop against all odds after everything he'd been through. I wanted to see him finally get the job done. And then he lost. And even though wrestling is scripted and you could say it's fake, this loss felt real. And I just remember leaving SoFi Stadium just depressed and going on my little rant to my girl and just being all like, what if lightning doesn't strike twice? What if he doesn't get back here? There's no guarantees in wrestling. What if this was it? But fast forward a year, and after tag team titles, some awesome matches, some awesome feuds, awesome moments, crowd singing his song every week, the chants getting louder and louder, somehow, some way, Cody was still on fire. If anything, he pulled a reverse Lex Luger, something that I was scared of. I'm like, what if this guy ends up like the next Lex Luger? He loses first title shot, and he's never the same in the company again. But nah, he pulled a reverse Lex Luger, and the loss didn't hurt him at all, and which was never a guarantee, that's the thing. But after winning the Rumble for the second year in a row, and somehow becoming so elite that he had the fans go to bat for him, and convince the company to pivot from The Rock versus Roman Reigns, you know the story. It was time for the sequel. Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns 2 in the main event of the biggest WrestleMania of all time. And once it was confirmed and the closer it got, I just knew, I'm like, I have to go here. I don't care how expensive tickets are. I don't care how inflated they are. I don't care how expensive the hotels are, this and that. I need to be here. I need to see this match in person. And this wasn't me wanting to go to WrestleMania. No, I did that last year. I had the experience. I went to both nights. I saw everything. I took in access. I took in everything. This year was different. I wasn't going for WrestleMania. I was going for one match. So I had my 6 a.m. flight on Sunday morning, just me and my backpack flew from Toronto to Philly, and there I was at WrestleMania 40. Eventually it was time for the main event of the biggest WrestleMania of all time, one of the most hyped up matches of all time, the match I flew in for, the one that I just had to be there in person, and it just happened to be, in my eyes, the greatest match I have ever seen in my life. Cody vs. Roman 2 was so magical that words just can't describe it. When the match was over, I was out there standing in the crowd genuinely with tears in my eyes. I was being a Cody crybaby in every sense of the word. I don't know why, I don't know how. I never imagined I would ever get emotional or anything like this before the match. The last time I ever cried watching wrestling was back in 05 at 7 years old when Eddie Guerrero died. I never thought wrestling would ever mean that much to me again, that I would ever be in tears. But it happened, and everything about this match from the beginning till the end was picture perfect. Cody's entrance with the mask and the Avengers Type B plane was so awesome, and seeing his wife come out and get a huge pop was just so nice and so heartwarming. The two who met in the company over 10 years ago when one was an announcer and one was a random mid-carder now came out in the main event of WrestleMania together for one of the biggest matches in history. Roman and Heyman came out and it definitely felt like the end, the final battle. He had a live band performing his theme, one last walk down that aisle, and after all those main events in his title reign, after all the matches, it came down to this, and it was just electric. And when both men were in the ring and the bell rang, there was not a single person in the crowd that was not making noise. I have been to so many wrestling shows in my life, from SummerSlams to WrestleManias to weekly shows, whatever, you name it. I've been to a lot of wrestling shows, I've seen a lot of matches, but I've never been a part of something this loud in my life. And it's so funny looking back at it, because after having my heart broken last year, the fear that I had in this match while watching this was crazy. You guys know me, I'm a wrestling diehard, I'm a connoisseur, I watch everything and anything, I'm like a wrestling historian, and I know there's certain rules, right? Like, the first finisher in a main event of WrestleMania is never gonna be it. The match is gonna go at least 20 minutes, but yo, during this, all of that was out the window. I was there sitting there watching this with the fear of God in my heart. Yo, in the moment when you're there and you just care so much about a result and you care so much about a match, especially after last year, it's so scary. Everything just feels so scary. So even when Roman hit his first spear, my heart dropped. I was out here tripping like, wait, what if he can't kick out fast enough? What if the ref, counts fast by accident? What if something happens? What if a disaster happens? That's just how locked in I was to this wrestling match. It's still real to me, damn it. When Jey Uso made the first save, it was like the best feeling, because it confirmed and cemented like, okay, the Avengers will surely be assembling tonight. And I expected Jey to hold it down and do his thing, but when Jey speared Jimmy off the stage through a table, the grown folks jumping up and down a joy counter officially started. And nobody expected this. Nobody expected a damn spear off the stage through tables. That itself on any other night would have been big enough. That would have been a big enough save, and you could have ended the match after that, but not tonight. The one moment where I was truly petrified and I was truly sweating, I'm like, yo, they might actually end it here, was when the Samoan Spike and Spear combo got hit by Roman Reigns and Solo. When that happened, when that hit and nobody's music hit, I was just there like, yo, wait, why isn't anybody interfering? Why isn't anyone here? And when he went for the pin and the count started, my heart was dropping. I was praying. I was like, please, somebody's music hit, somebody save us, because for some reason in my head I was like, Cody could kick out of 50 spears, I'm not stressing. But the Spike and Spear combo, it just felt like it was too OP and it was too much. But nah, they actually had Cody Rhodes kick out of that, and the jumping for joy counter was at 2, and next thing you know, it happened. Cena's music hit, the trumpets blasted, and John Cena came running out. It's like, yo, what can I even tell you? What can I even say? You know me, I am one of the biggest John Cena fans you'll ever find. I have been a top tier chain gang soldier before a lot of you were even born, and this was it. This was magical. I finally basically had my own 2008 Royal Rumble moment. Over the past few years, I've been fortunate enough to finally see my boy Cena live. After growing up and not being able to go to really any shows, after being a fan for like 17 years, back in 2021 and last year, I finally saw him live, and it was awesome. It was special. But it's one thing when you know he's gonna be there, you're ready for it, you're bracing for it. But this legendary, just magic. 10-year-old Pav couldn't be there for the 08 Rumble, but yo, 25-year-old Pav was there for this, and that just makes me the happiest kid in the world. Cena goes out there and he doesn't just save the day a little, he doesn't just do a little shoulder tackle. Nah, this guy goes out there, this balding beauty, AA Solo through a table. He even AA's Roman for good measure. The jumping for joy counter at this point is at 4, and then The Rock's music hit, and even though he is an op, even though it's The Rock and he's on the Bloodlines team, I was still jumping for joy because it was The Rock. For the first time ever, I see The Rock live. He makes his entrance, and if you told me back in 2012 and said, hey, one day, don't you worry, buddy, you will see Cena and Rock in the same ring live in person at WrestleMania, I would have never believed you, but it happened, and I am just so happy I got to take this picture 12 years later, from watching on pay-per-view to real life. And yo, I don't care. Cena got claps, he got rock bottom. I wasn't even mad, because at this point, we were full in on a run in Mania. This was straight Avengers assembling, and the best part was, I didn't care. This is what the moment called for, this was what was needed, and this is what the people wanted. If you told me that I could choose a genuine 5-star classic WrestleMania main event between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns on some 2018 Wrestle Kingdom type B where they just go off, or I could have this, I'm choosing this. Because to me, as much as I love a good old wrestling classic, this is just as much 5 stars to me than any other match. Because if there was any moment in wrestling history that called for this, it was this. The Shield music hits, and from Roman's Christmas past comes Seth Rollins, who legit struggled to get in the ring and who was so committed to this act, to this match, he dyed his damn hair before the match. Roman Reigns spears him, he saves the cousin The Rock, and then just when things couldn't get crazier, it happened again. The Undertaker's gong hit, and as you can see, just look at this video, the jumping for joy counter is at 6. My voice was so gone. Just listen to the audio. My voice was so gone by this point, I started sounding like I was Paul Bearer. The one man who could pull up and not have anyone let down, it's not Austin actually pulled up. He goes in there, he choke slams The Rock, and just like it was my first time seeing The Rock in person, it was my first time seeing The Undertaker, someone who I really thought after he retired that I was never gonna see, but here he was. It was just like the craziest mix of emotions ever, and it was all about to come together. Shout out to the Beatles. And when Roman hit Seth with a chair instead of Cody, because even 10 years later he couldn't move on from what Seth did, and Seth sold exactly like how Roman did 10 years earlier, the end was near. Cody reversed the spear, 3 crossroads, no Samoan spike this time, no interference, and I can't believe it actually happened. 1, 2, 3, Cody Rhodes did it. Stardust did it, Cody Rhodes did it, Dusty's baby boy did it, after the most overbooked, most insane and wild match of all time, after, in my opinion, the greatest WWE match of all time. I don't care what you're saying, in my eyes, this is it. Cody Rhodes, the boyhood dream came true. After all those years of grinding it out on the mid-card, those years on the indie scene, wrestling in the middle of nowhere, after going to Japan, taking that chance, after creating a whole damn wrestling company, it all led to this. Dusty's baby boy did it, and the craziest thing to me is one thing that I saw mentioned that I feel like should be mentioned way more. Cody Rhodes became world champion 6,111 days from his debut. From July 2007 to April 2024, it took him 6,111 days, and he broke the record for the longest journey to become world champion in WWE history. And yo, it's just crazy to me because like there I was in the crowd after flying in that very morning just for this one match, after seeing everything that went down, seeing Cena, seeing Taker, seeing The Rock. After all this, I was there in the stands clapping, screaming, cheering, with literally tears coming down from my eyes. I don't know why, I never thought it would happen. It was just the craziest moment. I'll say it again, listen, wrestling, it might be fake, but the people and their stories are real, and it was just beautiful. The faces coming out, seeing Randy, who was like a proud father at that point, just Randy being there made it so special. From the legacy days to this, it was like he was finally able to give this title to his mom, and it's like, yeah, it's not a real title, he's not the real champion of real fighting, but what that title represents, it holds just as much weight in my opinion. He gives it to his mom, his family's there, his sister's there, Brody Lee's son was there, front row. My GOAT John Cena was there jumping around. Even Seth Rollins had tears in his eyes from watching the sidelines. The embrace of Cole and Cody when they're both crying, it was just beautiful. And it's crazy to see how this moment meant so much to so many people. From us, the fans, to of course Cody and his family, the wrestlers, to the commentators, to Samantha who was on the sidelines holding back tears, announcing that he finally did it. It doesn't get better than this. It doesn't get bigger than this. This was bigger than a wrestling moment. It was just a good moment for one of the hardest working people in the business, and the fact that it meant so much to so many people just proves that, and it just shows the power of wrestling. I don't think there will ever be a moment that will top this for me, just because of how much it meant, like me going out of my way for this, just how much I've latched onto Cody since he came back. This was truly something for the ages, and truly something for the ages for me. And of course, after all this, one thing we have to say is shout out to Roman Reigns. The reason this was as special as it was, like 50% of it was all because of him. Yeah, Cody could have beat anyone for the title and it would have been special, but no, because it was Roman Reigns elevated the title, he elevated the company, he made this mean something again, and for that, he is forever goated. And it was perfect moment for him too, because what a way for your run to end, right? What a way for your reign to end. He finally got his iconic career-defining rivalry. For years, it's funny if you look back at it, the company pushed so hard with their propaganda to be like, hey, Roman versus Brock was this epic rivalry, and it was like the most forced propaganda ever. But now, after this, Cody and Roman will forever be linked, and it's such a career-defining rivalry. These two matches back to back, it really puts such a nice flat rose, I guess, on his legacy. And now Roman's new story, when he's gonna pick up against Seth again, this 10-year-long building story, it's gonna be just as, if not even more special. This was genuinely a once-in-a-lifetime moment, and I'm so happy it got to be there. And the thing is, I hope Cody has an amazing reign. I hope it goes great, but the thing is, I don't care. I don't care if he holds his title just for a few months. I don't care if he holds it for a year. Obviously, I want it to go well, and I know it's gonna go well, but this moment, right? This is why we watch wrestling. I don't watch wrestling for the stats. I don't watch wrestling for the numbers. I don't care how long a title reign is. I don't care how many views he's getting on YouTube. Like, yeah, I know it matters, but this moment is so much bigger than that. This moment is such a feel-good, genuine moment that it makes it all worth it. This was everything, and that can never be taken away. So I know there's people out there who are complaining, you know, that Roman lost. It's like, oh, what does Cody do now? Oh, he's only going to be champion for a few months. Oh, he won't even main event WrestleMania Night 2 next year. Roman and Rock are going to do it. Who cares? Because us Cody fans, we don't care, because it's not about that. This is wrestling. Listen, as Cody Rhodes said, wrestling is a love story. And just look at this, right? Does it really get better than this? This moment is worth it all. At the end of the day, he did it, and this moment will forever be legendary. Whatever happens, happens. As Michael Cole said, I love professional wrestling, and it's truly a night I will never forget, and I don't think any of you guys watching either will. And to close it all off, I guess the best thing about this whole trip, for me going, the storyline, watching Cody get his moment, it's like, damn, I never knew wrestling could make me feel like this ever again. Just like all of you guys, I've been a wrestling fan my whole life, right? And I'm lucky enough to be in a position where watching wrestling and talking about wrestling is my job, thanks to you guys, right? But the older you get, the more kind of jaded you get, the more disconnected from the product you get, because what you remember is you growing up, right? The feelings and the memories and the nostalgia of you growing up, that will never be touched, it will never be replicated. And as you grow up, you kind of get jaded towards the current product, that no matter how many 5-star matches there are, no matter how special things can be, you never are able to capture the same feeling you did when you were a kid. But it makes me so happy and so, like, I guess relieved in a way, and just ecstatic that it happened again. I truly felt like a kid again, that I cared so much that I wanted to go out of my way to watch this, that I cared so much about the result, and that, like, yeah, like, I never thought I would ever have tears in my eyes because of wrestling ever again. And what a time, man. That's all I can say. What a time. This is why we love wrestling. It's what a beautiful moment, and I'm just so happy I got to be a part of it. That's all I can really say. My day-and-a-half trip to Philly was amazing. I got to see my boys from New York, who I hadn't seen in like 6 years. I met some fans of the channel, and I got to see Magic at WrestleMania. And just to close things off for real, I just want to say, you know, shout out to you guys. I want to thank you guys, because you guys make this possible for me. You guys allow me to have me talking about wrestling and making videos about wrestling my job, and your support and all the support you give me allows me to go do things like this, go to WrestleMania, and trust me, it's not lost on me. I don't forget it. It humbles me a lot. It means the world to me. So thank you for all the support and just allowing this to be my job. I truly love you guys. Thank you for the support. What a time it was to be alive. In the comments down below, let me know your thoughts. It's your boy Pav, aka Wrestling Gifts, and I will see you guys very soon with the next video. Till then, take it easy, stay safe out there, and hope everything's well. Later, guys.